Hi, I'm Dennis.
Hi, I'm Wes. Welcome to Petrol Station, your one-stop shop for five guys, thick thighs, and those fries.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else.
On this week's episode, I'm going to show Wes 5 different YouTube cars that I kind of like and kind of dig. And then Wes is going to blind react to those and give his opinions on whether he likes them or not. You ready for this? Yeah, you signed up for this.
Yeah, I know. The problem is we both have very different ideas of what a good car looks like. And we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm ready for it.
So before we dive into this, I'm going to throw you with a curveball, and we're going to start off with the greatest NASCAR interview of all time.
Oh my God.
So we haven't got to talk about this yet.
I posted it on our story though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The Cletus McFarland interview.
Like fucking Ricky Bobby.
Yes.
I don't know what to do with my hands. That's all I thought of the whole time.
That was the whole thing I thought of. Like, I just love I'm going around corners like a bald eagle.
Back down like a bald eagle. It's flat out, avoided a wreck, which was awesome. I thought I was the best driver to ever exist in that moment. And it's probably because my sleeves were cut off that I was able to pull off that maneuver, come down pit road.
God bless you, Cletus. Like, that was the highlight of my day.
Dude, that was the best clip of this week. I'm telling you. Maybe we should just start a segment, best clip of the week.
Yes,
dude, that was so good.
All right. Hit us in the comments if you want to start having us do best clips of the week. Can't have 2 number ones.
Yeah,
that's 11th.
God,
I killed him. I killed him. Now interviewing for a new co-host.
Also been sick all week. So if I sound like shit, blame Dennis. I don't know.
What did I do? I didn't get you sick.
I don't know.
All right, let's dive in.
I have to blame somebody else. I can't blame myself.
Yeah. Millennials.
Yep.
All right.
Can't take accountability
for anything.
For nothing.
All right, so let's start with the first car on my list.
Let's do this.
And that is this McLaren P1.
What the fuck?
Now, if you guess which one it is, I'll give you extra points. But remember that the points don't matter.
Listen, I don't follow automotive YouTubers, so I have absolutely no idea.
Okay. So this is where you will recognize this car from.
No back end, though. I love it when they do like the back end removal.
So there's actually a reason why this particular car has no back end on it, because it's been destroyed. This is actually the McLaren P1 that was flooded in the hurricane in Florida. The yellow one. So it's owned by Tavarish. Okay. He bought it for I want to say $250,000 to $500,000. It was some ungodly amount that he paid for this car. And he is currently rebuilding
McLaren
for a flooded McLaren P1. Now, granted, they go for $2 million.
Well, yeah,
like that.
But flooded, he paid how much?
Well, in $500,000.
Oh, okay. I guess that's about right.
Yeah, and so he, if you follow him on YouTube, he is actually rebuilding the car, and that is, I'm guessing he got a Valvoline sponsorship because that was it.
Splashed with Valvoline all over the car.
Yeah, that's what it looked like at SEMA this year. So it's already making the rounds. It's already getting hype because he is getting it put back together. I did see the video where he got the motor started. He's doing a lot of things, like the engine's getting rebuilt by an actual McLaren engine builder. He's also getting the turbos upgraded. Like the company that builds the stock turbos for McLaren are selling him the turbos that they would put on the P1, but they've upgraded the design since then. So he's actually getting a brand new turbo set for this car. So
that's cool.
Once it's done, it actually should be pretty cool. But my thought is okay, you paid $500,000 for the car, right?
Yeah.
And he obviously didn't have that money just lying around. What do you do with that thing afterwards? There's no way that it pays for itself if you keep it. So do you have to try to sell it and hope that the Dolphins are back?
God damn it, Craig. Every time. I'll feed you later. Yeah, honestly. I haven't eaten lunch yet. You eat after I eat, Craig. No shit. Was that Sebastian too?
He's under the sea. All right. So to our buttery goodness.
Mom smells like pee.
Ew. She might.
Didn't even know it.
I think you did know it.
I did know it. I'm a good rhymer, but none of it makes sense.
So my question is, what do you do with this car when it's done? Because you got to hope that building the hype on social media, building the hype at shows like SEMA, stuff like that, someone is going to want it. But is someone going to pay what you have in it? He's already in it for $500,000 plus the repairs. So
I don't know. That's a car that he's probably never going to get rid of. One,
no one wants a flooded car.
Yeah.
You don't buy a flooded car to resell it.
I also question, insurance. How in the hell is he going to get that insured? Because one, I'm sure it's impossible to get that big of a supercar insured. I'm sure there's companies out there, but like it's also a flooded supercar,
right?
Which is even worse.
Yeah.
Like, and that probably is
no
never
one is
going to see the
take
road.
the liability. No,
Yeah.
that is a car that either it gets bought by somebody and he's not going to make money on it.
Yeah.
And if he does, I would be shocked. But
No,
that
that's
is
a car he's going to keep for forever.
Yeah,
he's never going to get rid of it.
It is strictly a show car at that point. You could take it on track, do some track stuff with it, but you never be able to get it insured, and it's always going to be listed as a total loss. So
yeah,
good luck,
Tavarish.
Okay. By the way, Valvoline, huge fan.
Huge fan. Can we get a sponsorship?
Yeah, sponsorship.
Is that an option?
Sponsored by
You're
Valvoline.
sponsoring YouTubers already. You know, you can sponsor somebody with not subscribers.
Yeah. Going back to West Blind Reacts.
Hey,
man. So this
car
one,
number 2.
This one, I think you'll get excited about.
Ooh.
Ready?
Hey, now that's a classic.
It is a classic.
I still don't know what YouTuber it is, but I appreciate this YouTuber, even though I don't know who it is.
So that is Throttle, based out of, I think they're in LA. I know they're out in California. Pretty sure they're in LA. But that is a full recreation of Brian's Skyline from Fast and Furious 2.
I will say, though, I hate those rims.
So there's a reason for those wheels. It is an all-wheel drive, full track, like drag setup.
Yeah, it's a drag setup. That's what I figured.
But yeah,
I hate those rims, but I get it.
Yeah, I don't like the wheels either. I do like that they recreated the car. I don't like the cage. It's all tubbed out on the interior as well. And I do not like those wheels and tires on that car. That car looks better as a street setup, not a drag setup.
It does look better as a street setup, and those mirrors look stupid. I don't know what mirrors are on there, but that looks very dumb. But yeah, I mean, again, I appreciate all. Front end looks weird too. It's not the same front end.
It's not. It's not the exact same body.
Yeah, it's a different body kit. But I do appreciate all Skylines. I think they all look good. I like the livery. That's a classic livery that will never go out of style. I know it's played out because it was on Fast and the Furious, but like it still looks good. It's still a good looking livery. And then the color, the silver looks so good on that car. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, do I care? It's a drag car. You know me and drag cars. If you can go in a straight line, congrats. But that's just me.
See, I feel like with drag racing though, and I have done both. I've done track stuff and I've done drag racing. I don't know. For me, it's always drag racing is more about the car than it is the driver's skill. Now, don't get me wrong. Stop yelling. Stop yelling at the video.
No, screw you. Yell at the video. I don't give a shit what you do. If your car is fast or not, you can go in a straight line. Congratulations. I don't care.
There is some
I get
skill with drag racing.
I get it. Yes, there is a little bit of skill, but you can't tell me it takes more skill to drag race than it does to go to a track and drive around a track fast.
So there
does not take as much skill.
What I was going to say is there is skill in drag racing if you built a car to go drag racing. If you bought a Hellcat Challenger with launch control and an automatic
that does all the driving for you,
there's no skill there. You're just holding the pedal and pushing some buttons.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No. And again, I will say I've seen built cars. I've seen that it can get fucking crazy. I understand. You know, I've seen the Texas 2K videos. I've seen the Vipers. It does get crazy and it does take skill to drive those cars. I get it, but it takes more skill to go around a track and drive the same car. Just saying.
Agreed. If you're talking about like actual road course tracks, no one with a 1,200 horsepower car is out there because that's just ridiculous out there. You would probably end up into the wall. So yeah, it's definitely more skill-based sport than it is going, pushing buttons and going fast. So speaking of drag cars, our next subject is
another drag car. God, I like the car. Don't care for the drag strip, but I love those old body styles.
This is actually one of my favorite drag cars ever.
Is that? Oh God, well, who's your favorite one? God, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Mike Finnegan.
Mike Finnegan.
So yes, this is Mike Finnegan's 1957 Chevy Bel Air, named Blasphemy because it is a 57 Bel Air body on a 50 on a. He has a built frame under that car. It
looks souped up. I can see it. It's very customized on the bottom.
Well, it's a gasser chassis. So the car is actually set up like an old school gasser setup where you have big tires on the back and the front end is raked up a little bit. Yeah. But the reason that it's called Blasphemy is because it actually has a Dodge Mopar Hemi motor in it versus a Chevy motor.
Which motor? The Hellcat motor?
No, it's like a full on like old school 426 Hemi. Okay. But like there's nothing that is factory about it anymore. It's got a custom block, custom heads, all the internals are all built forged custom, and it's just based on the 426 Hemi.
Yeah, and I will say when I think of drag strip, that's what I think. I think of built cars, like
exactly
old school looking like Chevys, like old school SSs, just shit, Novas, like
not
crazy
Hellcats
stuff, but like everything's built under the engine.
Right. Not Hellcats with the drag pack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I get it. It's fun. You guys want to go out there. Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
No, and I love that car just for it, just, the general concept of it. I also love the fact that it's still an either a 5-speed or a 6-speed. Now, granted, he's got like a ratchet shifter set up in it now, so he can bang through gears a lot easier. But it's still a manual car, no power steering. It's a classic setup, and it runs in the 8s. Well, he does like drag and drive events with it, where you go drag race all day, you put down a time, and then you have to drive the car with a trailer to the next event.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. I'll take the Focus. Let's go.
Focus.
I'm not winning anything, but I'll put down some consistent times.
Yeah, a whole 11 seconds.
13. Here's the next one. This is also by Throttle.
Okay. Old school Dodge. All right. V12?
Nope.
V10?
Nope.
Ferrari?
No.
I was going to say, I know there's a Dodge out there that has a Ferrari motor in it.
There is.
What's in it?
So it looks
clean.
This is a Gen 1 Viper that Throttle built, and they swapped out the V10 for a 900 horsepower Hellcat engine.
That's funny.
So I honestly don't like this one.
But like, why though? Yeah, like if you're going to do it, why wouldn't you just swap a Viper motor into it?
So I think it was actually a thing by Dodge where they went to a bunch of different YouTubers and basically gave them the crate motors and the ECMs and said, hey, you go find the donor cars and do the swap with them. And then I think everybody went to Roadkill Nights and they just had a big grudge match and see who built the better Hellcat swapped car. They actually didn't win. Somebody in a like a second or third gen Charger, the one with like the really flat nose Chargers that came out like in 2008.
I was gonna say a Volvo with a Hellcat engine.
Exactly, yeah. But they did a Hellcat swap in that thing, which those cars came with him. He said that's not even. You're not really doing that much work.
You should have done something more fun, like a Miata or something.
And again, I love this setup because when they originally did it, I'm not a huge fan of the car. Like Vipers came with V10s. They should have a V10. They have a particular sound, and I love that sound. But this car, I love the original setup because they stuck with a T56 Tremec. They had a 6-speed transmission in it. The next year, when they went back with the same car, they swapped it out for an automatic. And so at that point, it's just a drag setup Viper, and not a fan of that one, actually. Okay, moving. Ready for the next one?
Yep.
I think this might actually be... Nope, I got one more after this. All right, so this one is another Mike Finnegan car.
You're such a fanboy.
I think we're establishing a pattern
here. I wonder who you watch the most.
So this is Mike Finnegan's Death Metal Charger. It is a 68 Dodge Charger that was converted to be like a dirt track race car. He got it, fixed it up, took it back to the guy who converted it to a race car to show like, hey, we finished your build and got the car done. That guy couldn't care less. Like there's actual, go look at the Roadkill episode. You can see this guy just like not caring whatsoever. Really? So at that point, Mike was like, well, since he doesn't care, he ripped out the 318 and the Dodge automatic transmission. And now it has a turboed 2JZ out of a Mark IV Supra with a 6-speed tranny in it.
And that's not called Blasphemy?
No, they call it death metal because it's like most of it's being held together by its own rust.
Like, it looks like it's held together by rust. But I also, listen, I enjoy seeing those cars still running and still driving because, it goes to show
even if
that cars back in the day were made so well.
Yes.
And they still look, even with rust all over those cars, they still look good.
Oh, yeah. Now, I will say after the 2J swap, the one thing you can't see in this photo, and we'll try to find a better one of it, it has a hater pipe that comes out of the hood. So the exhaust and the blow off tube for the turbo are both two steel pieces of pipe that come out of the hood with old school tractor flappers.
Hey.
And it looks awesome and it sounds amazing because you have to rev it to like 8,000 RPM to get it to
sounds about right.
But once it gets going, like it sounds amazing. It's so cool. And
it sounds like so 2JZ motor.
But it still sounds really good. And it looks cool going down the street, especially with the hater flaps blowing in the wind.
Yeah, I'm sure. It looks really cool. Is it street legal?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I would drive the shit out of that, man. It's all the way
out
all the time.
I wouldn't drive it all the time. I would just take it to car shows.
Yeah, it'd still be fun.
And put a GoPro on the hood and just watch the comments afterwards. Yeah. Last but not least, this comes from the other YouTube channel that I watch way too much of, Vice Grip Garage. Shout out to Derek.
There are YouTubers out there, Dennis. Daily Exotics, you didn't even try.
Wow.
I know. Jesus.
Well, I was going for unique.
Yeah,
stuff,
I get you. No, I got it. And to end the list, this is first of all, love the car.
Oh yeah,
love it. One of my favorite cars ever made, the DeLorean. It's just a classic looking. Again, 88 horsepower. I get it. So everybody swaps it.
Well,
what's in it?
I was like, can you spot the?
Yeah, is it a LS?
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
LS swapped. LS7.
No, I think it's
huge.
I think it's a LS 6-liter, but it is. This car is a perfect example of just pissing off everybody, and I love it for that because So the backstory on this car in particular, it was owned by a high school shop teacher. His students stole the car, got drunk, wrecked it.
No shit.
And then tried to fix the bodywork with Bondo and spray painted the entire thing with red spray paint to cover up the body damage. So pissed.
I'd be whooping some teenager ass.
So when Derek had his show on Motor Trend, I think it was Roadworthy Rescues, this was one of the episodes where he had already bought the car, pulled it out of the woods. They scraped all of the red paint off of it, re-dented, put the panels back in flat that were dented and just covered up with Bondo. And then, they ripped the entire DeLorean drivetrain out. It's got a Porsche rear end, a transaxle rear end with a 6-speed. And I want to say it's a LS 6-liter, but it has a tunnel ram intake, MSD ignition. And instead of doing fuel injection like you normally would on an LS, he put 2 carburetors on it with stacks. And then at the end of the episode, he takes to the drag strip and he basically says, I already pissed off everybody who owns a DeLorean, and I already pissed off everybody who has an LS. So I thought I'd just keep going and
piss everyone off.
And make the fuel injected guys mad too by putting 2 carbs on an LS.
Amen. Might as well piss everyone off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know that I would ever do that setup in an LS because you still have to have an MSD box with a computer to run the ignition system because they don't have a provision to put an old school distributor on there. So either way, you're still running a tune off a laptop at some point. So you might as well throw fuel injection. But I dig it. I love the build. Also, I'm going to flip this back around. If you look at the very bottom, that piece that looks like exhaust, a diffuser, right? That's the exhaust. It's one big piece.
That's insane. Okay, that's probably the best part of this whole build because it looks cool. By the way, it looks like a cool diffuser, but it's the exhaust. I want to hear that car because that exhaust probably sounds insane.
It sounds amazing. And you look at it and you probably think no, that's going to sound awful, but it actually sounds really, really good. Too bad. I think he actually blew the motor on the first try on the.
It's cool though because it's also an LS, but it's also a rear engine setup, which is very cool. You don't really see that often.
So I will say something that is awesome about Derek in particular. With the closing of Motor Trend, apparently Motor Trend Studios sent out a mass text, email, phone call chain to all of the previous hosts and said hey, we're going to give you first dibs on all the project cars. So if there's project cars that you want, send us an offer. We'll sell them to you for you cheap. He bought all 10 project cars that he built on Motor Trend, including that car. So
they owned the cars and they made them buy them back. That's shitty.
Yeah. Except for some of them, I think Freiberger still owned the muscle truck. Finnegan, he owned that death metal Charger, even though they built it on a roadkill.
I would be pissed if I built a car on Motor Trend or something like that, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can buy it back for $40,000."
Well, from my understanding, most of them, it was dirt cheap offers. They were just trying to get rid of, and a lot of those cars, they don't have titles, so they were literally built for the studio. Built to be on video and put in a back lot somewhere and left to rot. So I guess I get it. If you can go buy them for dirt cheap and you're just going to use them for YouTube content, then they live
pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. All right. So that's my 5 cars. I want to ask. I probably know the answer. Which one was your favorite?
You know what? I'm gonna throw it off because one, I didn't really like how what body kit they chose on that Skyline. I know you thought I was gonna pick the Skyline. I'm not gonna pick the Skyline. I'm going to pick the DeLorean.
I was going to say, it's one of the two. It's either the Skyline
I'm gonna pick
or the DeLorean.
One, again, I don't like the body style. I don't like the rims on the Skyline. I think they messed the car up by doing it that way. Again, even if you're taking it to the drag strip, I get it. Take them off when you're off the drag strip. They look so dumb with those the ribbit rims.
The bead lockers.
The bead lockers. That's what I was trying to think of. I hate those rims. And I get it. They're for the drag strip. Fine. But when you're off the drag strip, switch them back to the other rims.
Yeah, I'm with you. Out of all of them, I think the DeLorean is
It
definitely
looks
my
really
favorite.
cool.
Blasphemy
was cool.
Blasphemy
I like
is my
the,
number 2.
The Dodge Charger was cool. Yeah, I mean, they were all pretty cool. I'm not a big drag strip person, but I get it. I get what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think out of YouTuber cars, I have to go with the DeLorean. I think it was the coolest one out of all of them.
All right, so that's going to wrap it for this week's episode. Again, if you made it this far, feel free. Just throw down that like, subscribe, hit the alert button down there at the bottom so you can get weekly updates every time that we put out a video. For both of us here at Petrol Station, again, I'm Dennis.
I'm Wes.
And we're gone.
For all of us here at Petrol Station, just the two of us.
I was going to say for all of us here, then I was like, wait a minute, there's only two.
There's only two of us.
For both of us here.
Yeah. Yeah, damn
God, it's cold out here.
It is fucking freezing. By the way, if you didn't know, now you know. We're in Texas and it's like 19 degrees outside. So
and we don't
we
deal
are
with this.
determined.
This is not our weather.